Hello everyone, my name is Totta and this is my voice. I've recently begun following a wonderful person called @Perkis here on Instagram. They're an autism advocate, an author, a public speaker and much more. They do these Yen Thought of the Day posts that I find truly amazing and very comforting to read, and I've picked 5 of those that I would like to do little reactions to in this video for you today. The first one I've picked is this. For autistic people, stimming can be a great way of managing anxiety. Telling kids not to stim or punishing them for doing so means they lose a vital coping strategy. We should be able to stim freely wherever we are. And I couldn't agree more with this, truly. I found it interesting though, because I realized in myself that I've, through some sort of natural evolution of my body language and my stims, found ways to stim that aren't visible when I'm in public. Not saying that I do invisible magic tricks, but I do things that can kind of pass as regular activity or things that are very minute, tiny. So, for example, you'll see maybe in my videos I do this because I'm a bit nervous recording these. I like to really touch my fingerprints. If that makes sense, there's tips of my fingers to feel the ridges of my fingerprints. I like the sensation. I usually wear long earrings so that I can pull on them, because that's something you can easily get away with in public. It just looks like you're, fiddling with your lovely earrings, as you might. That being said, I hope that one day nobody will have to hide their stims, because the stigma will be removed, and that way these invisible stims that I've kind of leaned into won't be very common, probably. Next one is, this is not my quote, but it needs to be said and is the foundation of advocacy. And the quote goes, "Nothing about us without us." This is very interesting to me. It rings very true. I think the only way that we will truly change the perception and portrayal of autism in mainstream media and in society is by using our own voices, those of us who can, to simply be honest and speak on it ourselves. We want to eliminate this kind of bottleneck that everything has been funneled through so far by having neurotypical people examine us and then draw their conclusions about us, as opposed to us just telling it like it is. So this is a very exciting and very true and powerful quote. I agree with it wholeheartedly. Third one is this. I hate when people take advantage of autistic people due to our kind and trusting nature. This one went right into my heart. This is how I've reflected on it and the conclusions that I've come to about my own experience of it. Throughout my life, I have always ignored my instinctive boundaries. Somebody would do something or ask something of me, and my instinctive boundary would be, no way. But I would see that this is quote unquote normal behavior. Like somebody is just asking me to do something that is quote unquote normal. So I just push my instinctive boundary away. I just ignore that and I do whatever the person says, because that's what the people around me were doing. So from a lifetime of constantly having my instincts repressed, I've realized that I've somehow eliminated my own ability to clearly gauge if I'm being taken advantage of. I do think the way to get out of this behavior is to, like I've done now, realize what I'm doing, and basically when I go into a work situation or when I go into a relationship, try to tune in to these instincts again that I've for so long been just repressing. basically. I don't know if that made any sense, but maybe somebody can relate. The next one is: accessing health services can be so traumatic for autistic people and those who love and care for us that we simply stop accessing help. This needs to change, and change quickly. This one I thought was really interesting as well, because I'm sure a lot of people have very different experiences of this, but as a common denominator, I do think most of us who have autism find it very hard to seek help. It's always been, I've always found it very ironic that one of my biggest struggles is communication, especially unmasked and honest communication. The only way to get help for mental health issues is to communicate your problems and ask for help. These are things that are completely against my instinct in my behavior, and I've really struggled with it. It's not until I was 25 that I finally, after reaching a point of an autistic burnout, realized that I needed help. I really did. I couldn't make my days work. I couldn't function properly. My first step was to use an app where I could video call a psychologist. This I can highly recommend as a first step for anyone who's hesitant to seek help because it's too much, too intense of a situation to put yourself in. The video call was a nice first step. I forgot to mention what actually happened in that first meeting with the psychologist, so quick summary. She clearly saw autistic traits, but also that I was what they call high functioning. I'll speak on why that's a problematic term another time. But she noted that I developed a lot of my own coping strategies to mask my autism for so long, but that they were very draining and I'd simply reached a point of having no energy left, and that's why it was all collapsing now. She said that I needed a referral from a doctor to get my autism screening, but that it would be simple and all I needed to do was go see the doctor that she sent me to. The video call led to them sending me to a doctor face to face, and long story short, I was so nervous about that doctor's appointment face to face that I kicked into full masking mode, and the poor doctor didn't see any autistic tendencies in me at all, no traits, nothing to hint at it, and basically said, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with you, you're just feeling a bit low. I'll let you talk to a psychologist, but I'm not sending you a referral for an autism screening. That's just ridiculous." And it absolutely crushed me because I've been quite certain of my autism for a long time. I've always been like this. I went to that psychologist and the meeting went amazing. She immediately as well saw my autistic traits and could kind of coach and guide me to try to unmask in that interaction with her. It was very appreciated. And from that, I've then gotten my referral to my autism screening, and I'm on the waiting list for that right now. So that's all very exciting, and I hope that nobody is scared away from seeking the help that they need. I do think though that it's good to, as you seek that help, maybe engage with the community so that they can have your back through it, because it sometimes feel like you have to fight for yourself to get the help that you need, or fight to be understood. And at least for me, fighting is not instinctive. I am very much just someone who will close the door and just leave. Just shut down. I'm not like, I wouldn't yell back. I wouldn't like talk back to a doctor. No way. Anyway, this is the last one that I picked, and it simply reads, "Some of my favorite people happen to be cats." And I just wanted to share this one as well because it is so true and so adorable. I'll share pictures of my own little fantastic trio that we are here in my home. This is Flickan and Leo, and they are definitely some of my favorite people, 100%. All in all, that was my video, and I want to give a huge thank you and shout out to Jen Perkis. Your content truly has meant a lot to me, and I'm sure it does for many, many others. Keep up your amazing work. Thank you all the way from Sweden. Goodbye.